don't know about you, but I'm more interested in the meaning than the holiday. I'm not sure most Christians would agree with that today. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going back to try to hook up and find out how I can mingle my life with that. I'm going on with God. I'm not looking to please man today. I'm like the Apostle Paul. I'm going to make my stand with this. Man, if I was still pleasing man, there would be no way I was pleasing God. Remember the message that Paul gave to the Galatians? He said, come on guys, right now, who bewitched you? What's happened? How'd you get so religious again? How'd you get so spiritually dull and uneducated, man? I brought you the gospel message that Jesus gave to me. It was that special message that, taken in general form, became specific through the life of a man. The same gospel message that you and I take up. The same story of Jesus, the risen Savior, the Passover Lamb, the same message. When it comes through you, it causes doors to open around you, and only you can speak into the life of certain people. God's measured you out and called you and designed that you are an open door with this gospel message. And Paul reminds the Galatians of that. He said, who has bewitched you? Who did you open the door to? What other kind of education do you have? It's not the message that you heard from me. Come back, man. Come back to the message of the cross. Come back to the message of the Passover Lamb. Come back to the message of Jesus. I'm saying to the church in this hour, come back. Come back. I get to be on TBN this week. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Get to hang out with Arthur Blessed. He's one of the most peculiar guys in the history of the church, especially the most peculiar guys I've ever met. But that's why I like him so much, because he's not like everyone else. He's not wearing an overly expensive suit. He's not pretending to be something when the camera lights come on. He's just a man that had a coffee shop on Hollywood Boulevard in 1969 with a cross on the back wall, and God told him, take the cross off the wall, take it down, and walk all over the world with that cross. I love what his life speaks about. He's been around the world at the equator the equivalent of 1.5 times. He's been in every nation in the world carrying a wooden cross. I love it. When I first met him, I stood in his office in the church where he had offices in Denver, and I was just amazed. Because it seemed like every space on the 4 walls in his office was covered with photographs. And Arthur Blessed had been provided opportunity in places there's probably very few people, if any, that have been given the same opportunities as him. But yet we would not have trained up a guy like Arthur Blessed. Is this church right here and this preacher that you're listening to right here, we're stand for something different. Not for being different's sake. Not the different of, hey, I'm not like everybody else, I want to be rebellious. Not that. The difference that we see in Exodus chapter 11, 12, and 13. The difference that God puts between those that will separate to Him and those that won't. The difference between Israel and Egypt. The difference between Babylon and the Christian church today. The spirit of false religion versus the man, that difference must be made. People must turn around while there's still time. They must come back to Him while there's still time. I refuse to preach a feel-good message on Easter. My message is, hey, feel good later. Get right now. Feel good. You will feel good later. You will be smarter later. You will go further later. Many of us are like the rich young ruler. We come to Jesus, and I tell you, we have a preconceived intention and motivation. And the motivation is, Jesus, I really like you. There's a lot of energy around your life. Look what's happening here. This is powerful. I want to snuggle up next to you and network with you. And Jesus says, you're not networking with me, man. This network only hinges on one thing, and that is following the Father. What you need to do is give away all the riches that you've incurred by being so smart in this world and turn around and get smart with God.